Welcome to the Senate chamber, and this is the Committee on Fiscal Affairs meeting. Today is August 12th, 2025, at approximately 10:05 a.m. in Senate chamber. And at this time, I ask the clerk or the legislative assistant, or let me forego that if there's no objection from the members, just to effectuate the quorum for today's session meeting. I wish to introduce the members that is here joining me up here. To my far right is Senator Francisco Q. Cruz from the 2nd Senatorial District. And to my immediate right is the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Donald Manglona from the 1st Senatorial District. To my immediate left is Senator Manny Gregory Castro from the 3rd Senatorial District. And to his left is Senator Ronnie Calvo from the 1st Senatorial District. As we do have the necessary number to have this session. And with that, and joining us also is walking up, making his way. No, come up here because I'm going to ask some of the, Senator. Just sitting down next to me is Senator Paul Manglona. So with that, I wish to recognize any of the members to offer a motion to adopt today's meeting agenda.
Motion to adopt today's agenda.
It's been motion offered by Senator Manglona, Donald, and it's been seconded by Senator Cruz. Discussion? Ready. All those in favor of the motion to adopt today's meeting agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Today's meeting agenda is hereby adopted. Moving on, item number 4 under public comment. And because this is a specific invitation from the committee on several members, which I'm going to be recognizing shortly here, if there's no objection from the members, I wish to just go ahead and go to new business, number 5. Council, we're good with that. Thank you, Council. So, and before I do that, I would like to can I give an overview as to today's meeting this morning. So on April 5th, 2025, the Governor Arnold I. Palacios submitted the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget identifying projected resources of $179,701,969,000 for the Commonwealth government and related agencies. On July 14, 2025, during the first day 4th special session of the House of Representatives, Representative John Paul P. Sablon formally introduced House Concurrent Resolution number 24-2 entitled to define and identify general revenue and approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands as identified under Article 3, Section 9A of the Constitution as amended, and 1 CMC Division 7 for fiscal year 2026 beginning October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30, 2026. Accordingly, the House adopted House Concurrent Resolution number 24-2 in its original form, and it was transmitted to the Senate on July 15, 2025. Today, the Senate Fiscal Affairs Committee is scheduled to discuss House Concurrent Resolution number 24-2. And for the viewing public, the Senate Fiscal Affairs has also scheduled budget hearings for the municipalities of Rota, Antinian, and Aguiguan to begin next week. Scheduled budget hearings for Saipan will be forthcoming. And joining us this morning in our deliberation, we have invited Secretary of Finance Tracy B. Norita, OMB Special Assistant Vicky Villagomez, Mariana's Visitors Authority Managing Director Jamaica Tyron or her designee, I believe Miss Judy Torres is here for her. And the Hotel Association of the Northern Mariana Islands, HANMI Chairman or President, Dennis So. As the Senate prepares to move forward in its budget review process for FY 2026. And at this time, Sarge, can you please assist the four entities to their appropriate to the seats that we provide here? As you notice, ladies and gentlemen, I have all the members up here so that we have enough seats for the discussion this morning. So I also wish to invite CPA, Acting Director Frederick Pangilinan, to join us up here as well. And I do recognize the Mr. Ed Tenorio. I know you also represent the administration with regards to the finance. There's 2 seats available on that side. Okay, that's good. So thank you again for everyone for joining us. And as I mentioned earlier, with regards to the concurrent resolution, at this time I want to begin and recognize the Secretary of Finance, Ms. Tracy Norita, and her team to please for your any statement that you wish to offer with regards to the projection as submitted, and during in April 2025 for us to for the consideration of the legislature. Please.
Thank you, Chairman and honorable members. Thank you for your invitation to be here today. As you know, the governor's proposal remains the same, and I'm glad that you just did a brief overview of what was submitted by the administration and the House, and we're here and we stand prepared to answer any questions that you may have on the categories of the projection. And I brought my staff here today, Ms. Pam Margman, who's our senior financial analyst that assists me in the revenue forecast. So thank you for your time today.
Is there anybody who wish to offer a statement? The floor is open. Ms. Judy Torres.
Thank you for this opportunity to talk to you regarding the hotel occupancy revenue collection. Based on the concurrent resolution that is, we projected 7 million. However, there's so many series of events that has occurred, and we have made amendments to our projections. So in terms of our budget request for next fiscal year, we have presented 3 scenarios, 3 budget scenarios, 3 different amounts, 3 different results, 3 different impacts, and we are again asking for the support that the partnership of this able body to review this scenario, and let's see what will be good in terms of moving this industry forward.
Okay, so when you say that, do you have the information to present?
I do have the scenarios, the 3 growth scenarios.
Do you wish to
Sure.
flash it up on the? You can take a few minutes to set it up. Okay, but before we do that, thank you, Chairman. I wish to also give an opportunity for HANMI to just to say a few words. And the way we're gonna do this is we're just gonna have an opening statement, a brief statement. Then we'll allow each entity to do presentation if they have. Okay, so go ahead, Mr. Sill.
Chairman and honorable members of the Senate, we would like to say thank you first for the invitation, and well, as everybody in this room is aware of that, all the businesses are struggling ourselves because there are several reasons. And speaking of the tourism market, that's our primary market here. And for some reason that we're gonna speak and discuss today, and wanted to suggest something that we have to do to improve our businesses here. And speaking of the hotel businesses, we are the major player in the island in terms of the tourism. And we are struggling because of several reasons behind there. The first one is, of course, number of airline supplies, and second, the impact of the U.S. dollar, the strong U.S. dollars, and the third is like the competition between beach destination, just like some beach city in the Vietnam and the Thailand, and now even with the Guam, we have to compete. So for those, all the business climate and the circumstance what we face is really challenging, and it's critical that we may have bigger budget next year to make our tourism the rebounds up again. So we are here. I have some power presentation that gonna share later on. So. We are supporting the HANMI is supporting the budget, MBA's budget there, 7 million something. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sale. You want to offer some opening statement, Acting Director? Or?
Well, thank you, Chairman, and good morning, everyone. Honorable senators. My name is Fred Pangilinan, and I'm the Acting Executive Director right now. CPA is here to provide or answer questions that you guys may have of us. Right?
Thank you, Director Pangilinan. So again, if you notice the way the committee decided to carry through with this meeting this morning is we invited the key players of our tourism industry, from MBA to the hotels to CPA. They all, one way or another, connected to the questions that probably is going to be the meat of our discussion this morning. And of course, the Department of Finance and OMB are here also to provide the guidance. So I wish to recognize if any other members of this panel to my right would like to offer anything before we get into the meat of the discussion. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman and senators, I think my colleague forgot to introduce her team. She's very nervous. You guys are making her very nervous. But my name is Vicky, and I am the acting chair of the MVA Board of Directors today. To my right, we have Thomas and MVA team Eds, MVA team Catherine, MVA team. Did I miss anyone else on MVA team? Director Sachiko, also on the MVA Board of Directors, and Dennis wears so many hats. Also HANMI and also MVA board member. I have no statement at this time, Senate Chairman
It's okay.
Parr. The titles.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. So without any objection from there, unless some members have any opening statement, I would now ask the MVA to, if you're ready with your presentation. we'll take a short recess, no? Okay, we're back into our meeting, and this time I recognize Ms. Judy Torres to go right ahead, Acting Director.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to present our budget request for FY26. Before I present the growth scenario that I mentioned earlier, I would like to first present the challenges that we're currently facing with the visitor industry.
Okay.
First, we're going to present the external factors. And one external factor is the unfavorable currency exchange rate. Currently, the foreign exchange rate from Japan and Korea is making our destination, our US dollar-based destination, more expensive to visit. Also, the China market is impacted, but not as significant compared to Japan and Korea. For the Japanese yen, in 2022, the exchange rate was 131.25 yen to a dollar. Now it is 151.57 yen to a dollar. This is a change of 20.32 yen per dollar, about 15% depreciation of the yen. For the Korean currency, in 2022, the exchange rate was 1291.92 to a dollar, and now it is at 1452.11. The Korean won also has weakened against the US dollar, though not as sharply as the Japanese yen. That's an increase of 160.19 per dollar, about 20.4% depreciation of the won. Again, with the weak won and yen, the purchasing power in U.S. price destination has declined, making travel accommodations and activities more expensive in their local currency. The second external factor is aircraft availability. This is a global issue. Every airline that we have approached or met is affected by this issue. The issue is that there is a delay in aircraft delivery from Boeing. This makes it difficult for us to attract airlines to provide flights to our islands when there are numerous competition. Most recently is the Jeju crash in Muan, which took place December 2024. The Korean government has imposed safety regulation on LCC airlines. This has impacted us today with cancellation and unstable flights from Korea. The third external factor is the geopolitics factor, plays a huge role in our ability to grow. Most recently, the suspension of EVS staff from April to mid-July has affected arrivals from Hong Kong and China. The direct flights, I clicked too fast. The direct flights from Hong Kong Airlines has suspended since mid-April, and now that we have resumed the EVS staff, they have expressed that they will reinstate this flight in September 21st. Next. Who's clicking? You click next. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to approach the local factors. These are factors that we can address locally. Based on our meetings with airlines, they have shared profitability concerns in providing direct flights to other destinations. Airlines have expressed high operational costs, low revenue, low local inflation, and exchange rates fluctuations. One company has shared that they will do periodic review routes based on profitability. They have shared that during low season, the Saipan route has operated on $31,000 deficit per flight. This is very concerning. Lastly, flights are not profitable due to the low ticket price and demand. These are issues that we are dealing with locally with the airlines. We continue to work closely with CPA and other partners to see how we can support that airline so they can gain profit from this route and will not pull out our flights and reduce flights from our destination. Increased competition is another local factor. Saipan travel package is more expensive than any other destination. We cannot compete with these prices, but we can build value with our partners to make visitors feel that they're getting more benefit for the price they pay. Lastly, lack of accessible travel products. Travelers today are looking for a wider variety of experience. Gone are the days when it was about the sun, the sea, and the sand. Now they're looking for food, sports, education, language, history, and innovation. They're looking for sustainable initiatives such as culture, agritourism, and adventure. The Marianas has a lot of this, but they are not accessible to our visitors. So this is one that we need to develop as a community. So now let's discuss our future plans to recover our economy and what kind of investment we need to do it. We know that we are currently challenged with inconsistent air service. However, let's take a moment to work backwards. In order to have reliable and consistent service, there must be demand. In order to build demand, we must have products that are attractive to our market. So now let's work forward that our goals are to develop tourism products with our partners and stakeholders across the island. This will help to build demand from our existing markets and in turn will stabilize our existing flights. We also plan to engage with new markets and build demand from these markets. That and in turn attract new air service. With more visitors, we will heavily promote inter-island tourism and ensure that visitors get to experience what the Marianas has to offer. Tourism recovery will not be instant and will require time and investment. Our 3-year growth plan involves aggressive negotiation with airlines and travel agents, effective direct-to-consumer marketing, product development across the business sector, intergovernment coordinated efforts, intentional and effective promotion of the Marianas. So we have 3 scenarios, 3 growth scenarios with different impacts and different results. For scenario 1, the MVA, part of my graph is missing, and that's the $sign, but I'll go ahead and say it. The MVA is requesting $10,982,137 budget. With this budget, we anticipate result to include increased marketing promotion in current markets, active airlines and agency negotiation. We will be able to enhance our community events, develop new travel products, and proactively keep our sites and maintain upkeeps. We're able to expand not only to the Asian, but also into new markets. With this result, it will impact higher demand on FIT travelers and packages on all 3 islands. We will have better engagements with market and stronger partnerships and air service stability. We will be able to have impact on greater visitor satisfaction and pride, more word of mouth and repeat visitors, and strong image of the Marianas. We will develop broader awareness, a diverse visitor base, improve resilience in regional shift, and stronger long-term growth. Wow. And this is the result. With the $10 million investment, we will expect growth in visitors' arrivals for the next 3 years. So with this investment, we're estimating a 7.9 hotel occupancy tax collection. And once we deduct the net for MVA hot collection is 5.748, which is 72.4% of the 87 that is supposed to go to MVA. And then but in order to achieve this amount of 10.9 million, we are asking the legislature to identify a funding source of 5.234095 for the total to be 10.9. So that's growth scenario 1. We will have stable airlines. We will have resources to negotiate with the airlines for all year round service. We will be able to do more aggressive promotions and develop our products and experience here in the Marianas. Scenario 2. Sorry, part of my notes are, part of my graphs is missing, but this one we are asking for a total the required budget is $6.412 million. With this, we will continue our current marketing efforts with limited activities, limited program, limited innovation, and we will still have ongoing airlines uncertainty. This is what we're experiencing right now. It's like every season that is upcoming, we're always faced with potential flight suspension. So there's always unstable number of flights coming into the Marianas. We want to stop that. We want to have commitment with the airlines for at least for 1 year. 1 year commitment for stable flight all year long, no cancellation and no suspension. We will continue with our local events and destination upkeep, but with minor updates, minor enhancements, minor programs. We will be able to retain our staff and hours, but we will have a stagnant tourism industry. The impact of this funding source is sustainable existing awareness, but limited growth and adaptability. Again, unstable airline service may reduce traveler confidence. We will maintain engagement, but risk declining interest without new offerings or upgrades. We will ensure continuity and avoid job losses, but limits our capacity for growth, training, and new initiatives. So this is the result. Oh, jeez. Oh, this is the result of this scenario 2. We will not have any growth. Everything is status quo in terms of visitor arrivals, because since we were not going to have any resources to for our airlines to continue with their service, we will see suspensions, ongoing suspensions like we are facing right now. So we will have a slight decline in visitor arrivals. Based on this visitor arrival, our estimated hot collection is 4.951. After the deduction, the MVA net hotel collection is 3.584617. In order to meet the amount for this scenario of 6.412, we're asking this legislature for a funding source of $2.827 million. The last scenario, growth number 3. For this one, the required budget, we will not ask for any funding. Everything will be based on what our hotel occupancy tax projection will be. But the impact will be substantial cuts to our offshore marketing and promotion budget. So we will need to cut our contracts with our offshore. Right now we have 2 offshore offices in Japan and Korea. We will scale back or cancel any destination and community events. For example, just yesterday, because of budget uncertainty, we canceled, sorry to tell this Senate Committee Chair, Jude, we canceled Hail of the Marianas. Yeah. So that, these are one of the things that we will continue to face if at this budget level. The reason, one of the other reason we canceled Hail is because of budget uncertainty, and we need to start investing in this event. So we need to start promotion. If we wait for the budget to pass, I don't think we will get a good return of investment, because our promotion will be late, our recruitment will be late, and right now, all our promotions or our sporting events need advance promotion to make sure that we get a good turnout.
Judy, sorry, it's unfortunate that you guys cancel something that is almost like where Saipan or cinema is known for HOT, right? I mean, HO, Hell of the Marianas, but what is the figures that you're looking at basically in terms of to at least just that particular?
40? 50,000.
So because you don't have 50,000, you cancel that?
Yeah. And
Okay.
even if we say we need to wait until the budget is passed to commit this, it's already too late. We will not get a good result. It's too late to promote it. It's too late to recruit it, especially with the offshore market. And with this one, we usually do it on a sponsorship basis. So right now there is a local organization, local association that will be organizing it with us, but they need to start working on it now. and they need funding. They need, deposit to start doing some work, which involves cost.
So,
And-
so let me just get it. So, in the government side, you determined that you're going to cancel, but there's a non-government organization, a group that is determined to continue it. Is that what you're saying?
They rely heavily on our funding for them to.
So now, having known that you canceled it, you're anticipating that they're probably going to change their mind as well.
Let me get that confirmed because we just notified them yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you for letting us know. I appreciate that. Go ahead and continue.
Another result based on this funding level is reduction in work hours and staff position and continual economic decline. So what are the impacts of this budget scenario? A decline in destination visibility, weakened demand, loss of market momentum, and reduced competitiveness. Right now, we have stiff competitions out there armed with financial sources, and we need to be also out there to compete, to promote our destination. Diminished visitor experience because we will be either canceling or scaling back our events, and lower resident quality of life due to neglected public spaces and fewer community activities. Economic hardship will be also an impact, especially with our 30 staff, MVA staff, and ripple effects across the community. So this is the result based on that funding. We will have a decline in visitor arrival at 106,000 visitors for that fiscal year, because of those activities that we will need to either cancel or eliminate or reduced. So the estimated hotel occupancy based on that 106 visitor arrival is projected at $4.95 million. After all the deduction, the MVA will only be left with 3.5 for their budget. So in this screen, I have all three scenarios presented to you to illustrate the impact in terms of visitor arrivals. Scenario 1, 10.982 million. With this budget level, we will be able to go out and negotiate with airlines to give us stable air service. We will be able to either continue, enhance, and develop more market. We will be able to continue the service, the advertising, the promotional service in our overseas destination. We will not lose momentum. Scenario 2, at $6.412 million. Everything is status quo. No increase in visitor arrivals, but we will continue to face seasonal flight suspension. So, for example, one flight that is going to be suspending in the next coming days is T-Way. T-Way is suspending their flight from August 18 to September 28. So we're only going to be have 2 flights per day from Korea. For the month of June, we only had 1 flight from Korea out of the 3 regular daily flights that we get. And then for scenario 3, 3.5, at a visitor arrival of 106,000 per year, we will have low hotel occupancy, low occupancy rate, low BGRT, low room revenue. So I would like to end and leave with this simple message. To move tourism forward, we must sail together. We need support, alignment, investment, and leadership. Support, we are asking for your continuing support, not just in funding, but in championing tourism as a key driver of recovery and long-term economic growth. Align, we need to stay aligned. NVA is working hard to collaborate with airlines, businesses, agencies across the government, but alignment only works when we're moving in the same direction toward real sustainable growth. Invest. Tourism is one of the few areas where a dollar creates a multiple dollar out. It has a multiplier effect. The return shows up in more flights, more jobs, more business for locals, and more revenue for essential programs. Lead. This is where you come in. We're asking you to lead with us, not just by approving this budget, by being active partners in the support of our economy. Your support sends a strong message to our stakeholders and to the world that Marianas is serious about growth, and we're doing this together. This isn't just MVA's work. It is our collective mission. Thank you again for your time, your guidance, and your continuing leadership. We're ready to move forward with you.
Thank you, Ms. Storrs. Before I open the floor for any comments or questions, does the HANMI have any presentation that you wish to? Yes, sir. You wish to proceed?
All right, Chair and the member of the Senate, thank you again for the invitation. Today, I just wanted to give you the window or the screenshot of the how hotels are, at this critical situation. Let's just see the first page there, the monthly hotel occupancy tax. Before we dive in, let me give you some the information that Hotel Association currently consists of 11 hotels, the major hotels. The former Hyatt is yet member of the HANMI, and smaller hotels like lodging and the Airbnb and motels is not a member of the HANMI. So again, these figures is from the 11 major hotels. Okay, if you look at the trend of the monthly hotel occupancy, definitely we can see the decreased trend there, and this is pretty much connected with the ALC supplies. So basically, if we have more number of flight with a more number of ALCs, of course, we have more chances to grab the tourists and stay with us. And there is a room for us to, donate to the community, not only in terms of the hotel occupancy, but also, BGR or the tax duties, plus the job creation. All right. January and February was like, because we had a Jeju where crash happened in last December, and even if we had that kind of incident, but we had some booking on hand, meaning that some travelers already reserved their booking and the packages, so the impact wasn't there January and February, but March the impact of the Jeju it got started from the March, so there was dramatic decrease in the hotel occupancy and ADL starting from the March. Of course, as the acting managing director Judy said, June we had only one flight from the Korea. And the even if we have a Japanese, the market, I mean, with United Air weekly city flight, but that's mainly for the transit purpose. Actually, if you look at the MBA data in terms of the number of visitors from the Japan, is 1,000 people, and the June's figure was less than 900. And with the 900, let's just say divided by 30 days a month, then 30 packs from the Japan, and 30 packs if we consider like one group 2.5 packs or 3 packs, a parent and one kid, that's the 10 group, meaning that 10 booking, right? 900 pack from the Japan divided by 30 days and 30 booking. So even if we have a United Air weekly 3 flight, it doesn't really help us at this point, unfortunately. And Chinese, with a Hong Kong charter temporarily suspended, and we're working on resumption of the Chinese market, right, with a Hong Kong charter starting from the September 21st. So we are heavily depends on the Korean market, but Jeju Air and the T-Way Air, Jeju Air we have daily 2 flight at this point, and a T-Way only daily 1 flight. But it's really hard to count on them at this point. Jeju Air and the T-Way Airs are pretty much erratic with their schedule. And they are asking for subsidy, for the lack of the better word, because they needed to pull out or they needed to maintain their flight, and then they need additional operating expenses and the marketing fee, and then they, the aviation industry at this point, because of a Boeing strike happened twice last year, it may cause some issues in the production line. For example, if one engine dead, then it takes them 6 months to get the new engine. And there's a strong competition now in the airlines aviation to get the additional fleet of the aircraft. So it's happening there, and as I said at the beginning, the competition is very strong between beach destination. We have to compete even with Guam nowadays, and their package prices is way lower than now because they have more number of airline seats compared to us. For example, for the month of the August, they have 70,000 air seats comparing to us 14,000. So it's like almost 4 times, 5 times bigger than us. And there are a lot of air seats now sold. So there is kind of I hate to say this one, but they are dumping their price, the hotels and all the travel agency, because they have lots of air seat supplies compared to us. And so the HANMI hotels, we have to compete with them, but the easiest way is to lowering our package prices. That's why if you look at the ADR there, let's just say January, of course, that was peak season, winter season, $140. But again, that used to be like $260 way back to 2016 or 2017. If you look at the 140 compared to the June 2025, only 105, but 140 wasn't really high. As I said, it used to be over $200, back to 2016, 2017. But because of the the impact of the competition around us, it makes us to lower the the daily room rate. which directly affect on the hotel occupancy taxes, because basically hotel occupancy taxes impose on the room revenue, right? And occupancy wise, yes, there are several reasons why the impact of US dollar strong, right? Strong US dollar, and as I said, the competition is way strong compared to last year, compared to previous years. And next page, please. So this page shows the comparison with the last year, year to date. If you look at the blue there, let's just say the hotel occupancy last year was 38, and comparing to this year 28%. There is a drop by the 11%. And ADR wise 132, right? And this year was 121. So again, the hotel occupancy tax is heavily depends on hotel occupancy plus daily average rate. But it has been decreasing, dramatically decreasing for some reasons, as I said. Okay, next please. So this page shows 10 years, previous to 10 years, the trend of the hotel occupancy and ADL. Everybody here remember that 2015, 2016, and 2017 was pretty much good, and the hotel occupancy and the ADL was pretty much good there. But for after pandemic, right, and it has been decreasing dramatically. And if you look at the 2025, ADL dropped to 121. And even the hotel occupancy, of course, the major reason is unstable of airline supplies. Even if hotel operator and MBA, they're working hard, but there is a limitation because of why? As I said, strong competition between beach destination and limited budget. Well, we are aware of the fact that because Guam has a way bigger budget than us, but we know that we cannot compete with them. But to make the tourism industry bounce up, we need a support from the not only collective effort by all the stakeholders, but we need a blood. We need a gun. We need blood. Yeah. So we have less blood, compared to others, but it's like with a little more number of blood and come up with a wider and wider idea how to utilize it, right? Okay, next pages, please. This one, specifically, showing the trend of the hotel occupancy and the BGR as well. Well, there are some regions. If we don't support with a bigger room, with a budget to the MBA, and I would say that because of, as I said, Jeju Air, T-Way Air, that's a current airliner. We are highly dependent on them at this point. But the thing is, we cannot simply stand count on them at this point. Because T-Way, they're gonna pull out temporarily starting from the August 18 through the September 28. And as we know that Jeju Air, they're gonna trim down their nighttime flight from the weekly to a weekly 4 flight starting from the September 8 until September 21st. And again, T-Way gonna pull out October 14 through the November 22nd. And what's happening now? Jeju Air now look into the possibility that they may pull out daytime. They have not confirmed on their winter schedule for daytime schedule at all. So there's a possibility that we may have, because the T-Way they're gonna pull out temporarily, right? In the October and the November. And unless Jeju Air not confirm on the daytime schedule for winter, then basically we're gonna have only one Jeju nighttime flight from the Korea. And as I said, Japanese market for some reason is not dramatically increased. And 1,000 tourists a month, it doesn't really help us at this point. As I said, only 10 booking a day, and they are not staying with bigger hotel. They are staying with like a smaller hotel. Their average room rate is only $60 per night. And the Chinese, hopefully, right, they may come back starting from the September 21st. Then let's look at the November, for example. Jeju Air, one night flight, and Japanese, weekly 3 flight, via United Air, but as I said, only 10 booking a day. And hopefully the Hong Kong charter continue doing their services up to the November, right? So there's a possibility that the BGR plus hotel occupancy taxes could be worse than that one, unless we support the MBA. The budget, of course, is not gonna be used for only airlines, but they need some, bullet again to market and to promote the NMI to, all the marketing source. The thing is, currently, if you look at our product and the services, it's really hard to compete with the other beach destination. For example, we should give them tourists the reason why they have to visit us. In the perspective of tourists, what we've been giving them, the reason why they have to visit us. Do we have a shopping mall? Do we have a better infrastructure of tourism? Do we have a better product, for example, just head of Marianas, just cancel, right? When they looking at the destination to travel, they compare all the product, services, what they can enjoy. Of course, we have very unique, product of the island. So MBA needed to market and promote our uniquenesses. That's our competitive edges. And otherwise, major player of the tourism market on the island, the hotels, we've been struggling. Everybody's struggling, frankly speaking. The one hotel, because of speaking of the June, one hotel of the HANMI members, they had to close, right? And it may happen, not only that hotel. It could happen, Senator and the Chair, if we don't support the MBA with a bigger budget. But we understand that we are not like, Guam with a huge budget. But if possible, within the budget, then HANMI strongly, support the MBA's the proposal, just scenario 1. Again, unless there is a support and continuous, collective the effort, the hotel occupancy and the BGRT could be worse than this year. All right. So again, the the HANMI is strongly support the MBA's budget request. Of course, scenario one, so that we could have some the chances opportunity to bounce up for the fiscal year 2025 and the 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We appreciate the information really. And every time you say budget, I look directly at Secretary of Finance too, because I remember yesterday's presentation of the governor's office. Which I want to say that I appreciate all the presentation yesterday. Candidly, you guys, presented to the two folks that were visiting from DOT, and it's like if we're going to allocate funds or authorize funding, who we're gonna cut first, right? So, yeah, I share that concern heavily, and I'm certain with the members of the Senate here and of course the House. But at this time, I want to open the floor for any member to pose a question to some of the panels here in the presentation that are here this morning, and in no particular order. Go ahead, and Senator Castro.
First of all, I want to thank MVA and HANMI for your presentation. Yesterday, we did meet with the governor's office and officials from the U.S. Department of Transportation, specifically aviation, thanks to Delegate Kim Hines. And it was a very fruitful discussion. I know members of MVA were there as well. One thing I wanted to note, that causation does not equal correlation. And I just challenge our agencies to really look deep into the data, because you have the data. Every time we leave the CNMI, there's always a survey that we fill out. In Korea, for example, you can really look into the data by jurisdiction. What's the median household income? Korea is really good with data, and it's very accessible. We cannot say that we need more airlines or more. Yes, we do need more airlines, but sometimes the data, when we present it, it's like we have this many seats, but the question is, are the seats full? Yes, we do have a flight via United that goes to Narita, and it may be only 1,000 tourists, or I don't know exactly, but according to other data, we can even get one more flight because it's always full. So there's over 291,000 Japanese visiting Korea just this past month. The question is, why are they going to Korea? We need to look into that data and find out what are the strategic competitive advantages that are making Japanese go to Korea. Because if we keep saying, we don't need Japanese, or the Japanese aren't coming, they're not going to come. Every market is important. But at the same time, we had a lot of money during, a few years ago. And there was a lot of money given out to tourists via travel bucks. We could have used some of that money to invest outside of the hotel, but we didn't. When I visit Thailand, every street market, night market is mostly Thai people, Thai entrepreneurs. So we also need to look outside of the hotel and invest, like what was said out there, and we need to make those opportunities available for our own people, because tourists come here for the product. And what is the product? The culture, But if they want to eat Chamorro food or Carolinian food, it's not available. So we need to incentivize and get more of our, people involved in this tourism game. Because like that presentation mentioned earlier, but it's just like CUC. If CUC keeps saying diesel, 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 we're only going to think diesel. We need to really look deep into the data and find out why, what's going on, what's the difference, other than just making the, some of the very general statements. We need to dive deeper. Because yes, one flight, a few thousand tourists from Japan might not look important, but those 1,000 tourists bring in the flight that also help our medical referral. So it's beyond just one aspect. We need to synergize our process. And I just want to say thank you for all your work with this. But at the same time, when it comes to marketing, every day I see Guam's advertisements promoting Bikini Island. Where is our advertisements promoting Maniagaha? Whoever is doing marketing for MVA, geo-fence the island of Guam and start promoting Maniagaha. Because what's happening, whether we realize it or not, when the Korean tourists visit Saipan, they see Bikini Island when they open their phone. So, again, more money doesn't mean better results. It's what you do with that money. That 50,000 could have easily been provided by the SNIOD or somehow, but we need to communicate with each other. Because that's a big impact to a lot of the businesses, so we're not against MVA, we're not against HANMI, but we need to think deeper and look at the data that we already have. I also wanted to bring up a conversation that we had yesterday with Director Jamaica about the possibility of looking into like an entrance fee. Just how like the seaport, customs imposes excise tax for goods coming in, an entrance or exit fee for tourists. So that way they don't have to do this ticketing thing at Grotto. You pay your entrance fee and it's for all access to public spaces and recreational activities, and then you can divvy up those fees to the different agencies that need to, just like how when you visit Palau, they have a permit for designated areas, but it's already, sometimes it's embedded into the airfare. But there's ways we can do this and utilize existing agencies' capabilities. So for example, with that entrance fees, it's easily done via customs, because when you enter, we have customs. And that way we can make it easier for our tourists. Try being a tourist one day in Saipan. When you arrive at the airport, there's no bus or train that brings you to the destination. But other places like Korea, Hong Kong, you get out of the airport, you have the MTR in Hong Kong, it'll take you right up to your hotel. You don't even need to worry about a taxi. Try riding the Coda as a tourist if it was available. You're probably under the sun for the next 40 minutes. So I'm not trying to bash Coda, but we really need to look at our customer experience. What was done before, like in the 90s, 80s? Because we even have tourists from Guam that come here now and it's like, man, this is not the Saipan we remember. So what are the really important data sets that we need to look at? Because again, causation does not equal correlation. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Recognize Floor Leader Donald.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, MVA and HANMI, for your presentation this morning. Just going back to what Senator Castro had brought up, an event like Hell of the Marianas, which was canceled, have there been any discussions with maybe even Mayor Arby or the administration to fund that? I mean, that's if you're talking about exposure or if you're talking about assistance, those are some of the avenues that NBA could have used. Has that been brought up? I mean, even from the mini games, right? The administration gave a good amount to the organization to send those players off. But have there been any support in terms of something like the Hell of the Marianas or whatever other events that are coming up that you don't have the funding for? Have those?
That's a good idea. It's a good approach. No, we have not approached mayor's office or those other agencies that you have mentioned, but we will look into that. Thank you for that recommendation.
Yeah, and I bring that up because the festivals that we have on Rota or even on Tinian, a lot of it is on the burden is on the mayors to host these events. But when it's not fully advertised or when it's not being shared, then we're not really going to see the numbers coming in. But based on the presentation that was brought up, can I ask CPA, based on the information that was shared in terms of flight cancellations or reductions or the returning of some of these flights, what impact does that have on CPA for the coming fiscal year? Has that been analyzed yet?
A lot of the figures that both MVA and HANMI have presented are similar, and a lot of the concerns and requests that they are bringing to you right now are also some of the same concerns that we have gone over with them. It's not anything different. We have the same concerns as far as revenue projection because of the unstable flights. All of our figures, the differences between FY24 and FY25, we don't have anything positive. All the numbers have negative differences from between the 2 years. So we can see the need. We have the same need. We are the first point of anybody, any tourist. If there's no airport, there's no CPA, there's no seaport, there's no tourist. So our concerns are the same.
But seeing as how with the recently signed law in regards to seaport revenues, is there any way in which the surplus in those could help provide for discounts or reduced fees to the airlines? But it also kind of seems like the issue is more of an airline, or what do you call this, Boeing not being able to fulfill some of the orders. But are there any concerns about the rate at which CPA is charging, and if those were considered, or if those are reduced, then they'll be able to continue more flights or even include more flights?
Hold on. Right now, I know CPA has continued that reduction plan to the end of the year, so that has helped. One of the concerns with the airline is profitability. For example, one of the airlines that has suspended their flight, when we went back to discuss how we can maintain that flight, they won $50,000 per flight. That's 50,000 times 30 days. That's about
A lot of money.
yeah, a lot of money that we don't have. So those are the and then in addition to that, they're asking for the travel agents to hard block those seats, to buy those seats and guarantee. So if the travel agents don't sell it, they are stuck with paying for that seat that they did not sell. So of course they're going to come to MVA and ask, but we don't have the resource. We were able to save one flight with another airline, and the request that they have, their request is not as substantial as the $50,000 per flight. So we were able to save the flights from June to October of this year. So that's why for growth scenario 1, we're asking for funding so that we can go and discuss it with the airlines and say, hey, what do you need to give me stable airline service for the whole year? And none of this every season. We're always faced with the same situation. We will suspend flights. We will cancel flights. Okay, what do you need? And it's always a dollar sign. It's always with dollar figures.
Okay.
So then we're back to scrambling. How are we going to address this? We have a contract with MVA Korea. So we're always shuffling the marketing fund to accommodate this. Because if we're going to go directly to them through our procurement, we will need to do either an RFP, and that takes time. But we need to respond faster to these type of challenges.
And has MVA reached out? Didn't Jin Air service this route at one point?
Yes, we did. We did approach Jinier, and I don't recall what the reason is, but it might be aircraft availability too.
Okay. So it's not so much the rate currently with CPA; it's more of the availability of aircraft across these different airlines, for the most part.
It all adds up together. Yeah. To your question.
And based from what I gathered in yesterday's meeting in regards to DOT's determination that these airlines may travel between Guam and the CNMI, was that just recently issued, or was that something that came out a while back and now you're bringing it up to these airlines, if those can be considered?
We have discussed it with other airlines that we have approached to do a triangle approach. We have mentioned it to United Airlines, and then they're taking it into consideration. One of the fee that we get, it's either aircraft availability, and then also one of the requirements is that if they fly from Saipan to Guam or Guam to Saipan, they need a U.S. based crew.
Even if they're not taking any locals from between the two territories?
I'm not sure, but that's one reason that I recall.
Okay.
So we have brought that up with some airlines from Korea as well as Japan.
Okay.
May I make some additional comment on the top of that? The cabotage issues, like let's just say, for example, Incheon to Guam, Guam to Saipan, Saipan to Incheon. It could be another option for us to explore. However, perspective of a tourist that might be not easy travel at all. So even if that option in place, I would say the opportunity to capture more number of the tourists might not be a lot, but anyhow they're gonna be here first. And speaking of the operation cost of the airline, they say the $50,000, that's for the BP point for their operation expenses for round trip. For example, from the Korea and Saipan to Korea, $50,000. And so at some point, Saipan has been on the top of the list always for the pulling out their constellation to pull out their flight. Because why? Because they are also businesses looking into their operation, profitability. So in terms of that, Saipan is not really attractive at all. And our price is pretty much strong, expensive than the other destination because of, as I said, strong US dollars. And there's another concern. I'm not sure if this is the right time to, deliver airlines' concern to the CPA. We've been giving them favorable consolation from the CPA, like 50% discount, on the terminal usages and the airport fee. However, in case of the pulling out, for example, T-Way, they're gonna pull out this month, right, temporarily. Then, for some reason, the airport terminal fee or landing fee is gonna be another burden to existing airliner. For example, Jeju, United Air, if the charter, Hong Kong flights, if they are resumed, because there's a certain amount. I'm not sure if that is true, but just sharing their concern from the airliner. So there's a fixed amount that they impose in terms of the terminal and airport fee. So one airliner pull out, there's a still flat amount that's gonna be for remaining of the airliners. I'm not sure if that is true. So for example, Jeju Air, because of the T-Way pulling out, they have to bear bigger operation expenses, particularly at the terminal fee and the airport fee. So that's another budget, Yeah. And Thomas, can you please go back to the page that Judy shows, like, product demand, then air services. It's like, the chicken or, egg game. Which one is first? You know?
Before we can go back to that slide, but if CPA is open to cover down on what Mr. Seo was just saying as far as rates, just for the purpose of the public and the committee, really what you guys have been doing over the last 2 to 3 years to sustain what you all have as far as the operational cost. It's I know you guys have your own consultants too that gives you the rundown on where you should be charging the airlines. But what really is, how are you guys able to navigate in the midst of all this, the challenges?
I think as almost everyone knows, the CPA was the only agency that was under a 72-hour work period for over 2 years. The reason that we were not able to go back to 80 hours is, first and foremost, was because of specifically for this current fiscal year, FY 2025, when our rates came out for FY 2025 and they were given to our airport partners, they immediately came back to us requesting relief. This was not affordable. This was affecting, of course, as you said, these are businesses. If you're not profitable, then you're faced with a decision to go somewhere that they can make money. They need to be profitable. So at that point, and I know this is just a little bit of background information, our board of directors authorized a rate reduction program, and this was almost 50% off what our consultants told us we need to keep our airport running, to keep it safe. So the reason we were able to do that is, first of all, we kept our work hours at 72. We kept a very tight hand on our budget as far as expenses. But there also has to keep in mind that we need to keep our airport safe. We need to keep our first impression of the tourist, the passenger experience is going to be at our airport. So the reason that we are able to do that and keep the airport running is, as you mentioned earlier, Senator Donald, was because we were able to tap into the Seaport funds. And moving forward into FY 2026, if there's going to be any help again to the airlines as far as any kind of future rate reduction program, it is only because we are able to continue to tap into those funds. So that is the situation. So if we're looking at what else we can provide to the airlines as far as any kind of subsidy, it's going to be very, very difficult to keep our airport safe and presentable to the tourists that are coming in. It's going to be a very, very tight for us to do anything else.
Chairman, just one last question for HANMI. Since we're on the topic of projections, you mentioned there are 11 hotels that are listed. For next fiscal year, have there been any discussions or notices of any additional suspension or temporary closures or even closures altogether from those 11s that are being reported?
For technically, our situation of HANMI hotels are very dangerous zone. Could be any time. And to do the focus, right now is all the hotel is the budgeting preparation time. We could not even make a budget, the forecast. I mean, so that's how bad we are. And of course, all the hotel has headquarters to be presented and to giving them a hope. Next year we will be back to the business, or we will be say presented to the headquarters. Well, we don't have nothing. So could be the headquarters said, well, we waiting for how many years, and there is no hope. Then probably temporary close. So that could be happen. It is we don't make any profit in honest truth. We are stand strong with that MBA that we're hoping that the tourism will get back. That's how much we are contributing in all the hotel to support MBA to be back to the business. So I hope that it answer your question.
Yeah. Yes, but right now there's no definite notices from any of the 11, at least for next fiscal
we
year.
don't technically we don't really have that information.
Okay.
But because all the business is hoping
Right.
not to close. We have so many employees to holding and their life, their family. So we don't want to be happy. So we will not going to be, hopefully we don't want to be. So, but again, anytime
Okay.
could be happen.
Thank you. Thank you for that information.
Sus Masia, Senator Donna Manglonia. Any other member before I pose my question? Oh. Can I? Senator Paul Manglonia, recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Just following up on the question by Senator Darnell, can I get a better understanding? You mentioned 2 hotels that are not members that you think should be members earlier in your statement, Chairman?
Yes. Currently, we have 11 hotels, and former Hyatt Regency is yet member of the HANMI.
Not yet?
And,
Hyatt is not yet?
Yeah, not yet. Well, actually, we encourage them to join, but we don't enforce them to join the HANMI. And, the additional comment on the Sachiko's, comment that, all the hotels has been financially struggling.
Okay,
It's
so what's the other hotel that's not a member?
What's that? The Mango Resort. Huh? No, Mango.
Oh, Mango Hotel. Okay.
Yeah.
I asked that because Ms. Torres' presentation, in her final presentation, she talked about alignment, and leadership. So I'm going to follow up on that recommendation. So where is the hotel association as far as working with other hotels? Are you working with Hyatt, with Mango, with all the other hotels? Do you have work regularly with them and with Department of Public Land and with Marianas Visitors Authority? Are you working together?
Yeah, the speaking of the HANMI members, we are not only hoteliers. There are small businesses, the vendors like so basically the HANMI is like association of the hotel plus hotel related businesses.
Okay. So I guess my question is just among
Yes,
the
so-
hotels.
Yes, and we have a general membership meeting on a monthly basis. So that's the table that what we discussed and put the old agendas that we wanted to develop or we wanted to move along is like that. So there is a pretty much the time that all the hotels of the 11 are working together.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to prolong it, but I feel like there's some missing communication here that's important, right? Because DPL, for example, is handling the lease agreement with Hyatt, with Canoa Resort, with the former Camp Pacific. So I think, it's not. I know we're looking for money for today, but these were issues from years ago, and had we done it correctly years ago, we could be maybe getting some help from the HANMI or the individual hotels in marketing, which I want to maybe just divert a little bit of every dollar that we use to market and promote the CNMI. How much of that is coming from MVA and how much of that is coming from HANMI or the hotels, would you say? 90% from MVA and the hotel occupancy taxes and 10% from the hotels, or whatever that relationship, is that close, I can assume?
Your question is for every dollar that we spent,
The CNMI as a whole,
cinema as a whole.
for marketing, would you say 90%, 95% is MVA and the hotel owners 5%?
In terms of our marketing dollars, that is carried forward by our offshore offices, because that's one of the services that they have to deliver is promoting. The MVA, when we do promotions, we promote the destination. We promote the destination, and then usually the hotels and the optional tours and other component of the Mariana destination is handled by the properties. So I know, like, for example, the hotels, they have their own social media platform. They have their own media and advertisement agency. So and what they do is they promote their property. We do engage on there for them to partner with us when we have offshore events. We invite them to come so that they can meet the traveling public as well as trade partners. But and that's also one way in stretching our limited marketing dollars.
Okay, so I guess it's good for us to open up Canoa Resort, right away?
Yes.
It's good for us to open up the Camp Pacific Hotel right away. It's good for us to open the Rota Resort right away, right? So that's my point. It's good for us to open up Hyatt right away, right? So whose job is that to push that along? MBA doesn't have a role in aligning with DPL, in aligning with the in Hyatt, because Hyatt is 1 year ago, right? They're supposed to have a Hyatt brand, but they still don't have. And I'm not gonna target Hyatt, right? But my point is that's public land, and they don't even become a member of HANMI. I think HANMI should reach out and say, hey, come in here. You're part of us. You're the public land. And why is it? Because we're losing hotel occupancy taxes, right? And we're not hiring local people, right? That are supposed to, or local employees. So I think we should call them in and say, come in and join HANMI. You have a responsibility. And why is it that when they amended the lease agreement, They promised that they have the funding and they're going to do the renovation. And the last year was the best time to renovate because there's no tourists. And if they had done that today, they would be marketing the island, right? That's only one example. And the other one is Marianas Resort. But I know there are concerns in the legislature. But if the legislature have concern, it's incumbent upon you to come in and say, hey, okay, so let's decide, remove that, do the bidding again, right? So I'm just saying that these are key players. Marianas Resort, Canoa Resort, right? Rota Resort. So don't you have a role? You mentioned MVA. You said we need to work together. Leadership. That's leadership, right? To open these hotels up, right? So I just want to make that point. I don't know. Duty free. Have you talked to duty free? What are they going to do with their facility? Maybe get somebody to open that up. Have you talked to duty free about their big facility?
Earlier this year, we brought in investors from Hiroshima. And we did have them meet up with the duty free. And I know also CEDA is also taking the lead in attracting investors. And we continue to follow up. For example, when the RFP for Canoa was out, I shared that with these investors. But that's pretty much, we continue to stay in communication and keep in touch. But that's pretty much what we have been doing with investors.
Okay. Kingfisher, it's a nice golf course before. It's, you can see electrical lines on the ceiling. Who's supposed to take the leadership there? Right. So I just want to end, Mr. Chairman. I know that we're looking for money today, but this could have been addressed 5 years ago, and then we'll be realizing the impact today. So it's never too late, right? And so I just want to comment on that. That you're right. Alignment to sail our proa forward, right? Thank you.
Director Sachiko, would you like to?
Sure. Thank you. I really appreciate, I feel so energized from you, and then we really like that. The situation right now, I wanted to open, we all wanted to open like before, all the hotel, 13, 15 members of HANMI. That's great. But right now, the situation economic doesn't allow us to do that. Even to the renovation, we are having a hard time to be convinced our headquarters.
Let me just interrupt. The reason why, for example, I asked about Hyatt, that's public land. And there were bidders that want to take over it that had money last year. But Hyatt gave it to this company because they told Hyatt that they have the money. But if they don't have the money, they have no business because there are other companies that were offering to DPL that we have the 40 million and we can do it. So had they given it to the right person, it would have been done already. So I just want to point that out, okay? Because people were offering to do it. Thank you.
You still have the floor, yeah. That's the passion that our good Senator.
Yes. Okay. Commented about the duty free, and then Ms. Judy was commented. Actually, we really over like MBA, we're doing in promoting destination and tourism, but we do more than that to be bringing in even investor to talk to, come to the Saipan and then invest in the businesses. We also doing that role also. Even the hotel, we talking to like our companies in Japan. We talking, reaching out to Japan investor. But right now it's a very critical situation. Investor, of course, coming to see here and look around what's going on, and then it is not good shape right now. Those are the issue we are all facing. So the first thing first, that tourism needs to be get back to be healthier, which is the MBA needs to do their more active role that they need. So that way, when the investor come, okay, Marianas is coming back. So that way, the investor sees our potential for future. So that we are hoping to happen.
Okay. Thank you, Director. And I don't know if this is an appropriate time to ask, but maybe even the Secretary of Finance can chime in. So I'm surprised actually that labor is never mentioned as an issue with some of the hotels, or is it not an issue? You're not concerned with 2029 or the pool of labor that can potentially create a vacuum of anybody? I mean, is this something that we should be talking about? HANMI, MBA?
Okay, we don't really comes to that topics yet in the
Okay.
NBA. But then, of course, 2029, we lose CW1, and which is heavily we rely on like engineer person, and also on the kitchen area in the hotel.
Okay.
So
All right. Thank you. I just wanted to flag that because, that is a key component of our destination too, as, tourism and hospitality. I want to recognize our good chairman. Apologies. Thank you for being very patient, Senator Calvo. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. And I would like to just begin by thanking Department of Finance, HANMI, the CPA, MVA for, all the stakeholders and like yesterday's, talks in regards to, how we're going to come together and hopefully find a resolution to the request and things like that. One of the things I wanted to just take a look at is when you did the scenario 1, 2, and 3, if I may just ask the tech to place that up on the board, because since April the proposal was placed in, every day time is of the essence. Every day there's, a change in environmental conditions and things. And how you had mentioned, HANMI, at any time another hotel may, opt out. So it's a race against time. And with all the conditional changes, I wanted to ask HANMI and the proposal, scenario 1's great. I'm looking at scenario 1 with a $10 million investment. That's an idealistic approach. We need that. Everybody needs that. But then the status quo, where we currently at, scenario 2, if I may, ask scenario 2, that's what the existing 6.2, 6.4 million. And I'm looking at option 3, living within your means. Where are we currently at in regards to the conditions we are in? So I wanted to see with HANMI, you're posing that 1, 2, and 3. Right now we have scenario 1 on the board, which is that 7 million, correct? In regards to the budgetary proposal. But HANMI, my question is, as of from April, 5 months in, with all the conditional changes that have been trickling effect, and we're saying the local factors of $31 million deficit, airline probability concerns at any time, we're just like in that strenuous condition, and we're getting U.S. to assist, and where would you fall currently in regards to scenario 1 or 2 and 3? When you stated, I'm in support of MBA, we are trying our best, where conditionally wise, where would you fall? Scenario 1, 2, or 3 option? Just for your opinion at this time.
All right. Thank you, Senator. Of course, scenario 1, because, that was the, big picture, like product and services. We should have to, polish our product and the services. That's not only hotel product, but like, some event and a festival. Then to come up with that idea in reality in place, we need a budget. Hell of the Marianas is a simple example that it has been long with us here, but probably not happen next year. And there is no chance to brought more number of tourists from the offshore market, right? And to have a product and the services, we need a budget. Not only MBA hotels, we also doing developing our product and the services. Then we need our budget as well. But budget always based on previous year's forecast actual business outcome. And none of hotels has been made any penny in positive for last 2 to 3 years. All the hotels has been losing the money, frankly speaking. And with 11 million, they could be bigger, there could be huge amount for us, but could be less, could be small. Why? Because building up the demand, we need a product and the services. And based on the demand, we're gonna have an airline, more number of airlines. So in terms of a supply chain, which one is first? Product and the service and the demand. Based on that, the airline services are coming in. So of course, 11 million there, it could be really big because we are really, for the past years, we've been struggling, But with a bigger, budget, there's a more chance to boost up our businesses better. Right? So we support, scenario 1, 11 million. And we asking for your favorable constellation on the scenario 1. Thank you.
Yeah. So with scenario 1 and looking at the current conditions and nothing in the near future for 2026, do you feel there's going to be optimistically benefits or drawbacks in regards to your perspective for scenario 1?
Scenario, I feel that this is really time for us. As you say, it's the essence of the time. And this is the time that, we have to look into what we need to support. Of course, again, 11 million could be very big, or it could be small at this point. That might give us more opportunity to boost and to recover, not full like the 2016 or 2017. That 11 million might be enough to get our tourism market bring back to 2023. 2023 was a little bit better than this year. And if you look at the HOT taxes, 7.9 million forecast, pretty much close to the HOT for the year of 2023, 6.8, something like that. So scenario 1 could give us again more room for us, everybody, all the stakeholders, related as tourism, bring back their business back, even not full though. Yeah. Yep. No?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Real quick. This is for MVA regarding, I know Senator Manny mentioned about, you guys mentioned that external and our local factors. Do we currently have on the marketing aspect, all the different, like we mentioned, the different events, do we have something like compared to the Guam, all the different events, marketing, something currently out in like infomercial wise for tourism on the air?
I'll have our marketing manager.
Yes, so we do have our event calendar. It's called the Marianas calendar on our website. So it's open to the public, pretty much to all agencies as well, to upload their events, and we do share that with our offshore offices and to our partners overseas. So yes, we do have that intact.
Sorry, just to. Someone's gonna need to update the calendar because last weekend I was trying to find information about BBB, but there was nothing on it.
Yeah, so the challenge with that, aside from our events, right, we do approach like the mayor's office in Rhoda and Tinian for them to provide us with promotional materials and events, but we can't control that. So we constantly knock on their doors, asking for these materials and events, because technically we want to promote an event at least 3 to 4 months out, right? And if we don't have those materials, it's hard for us to promote such an event. So we pretty much just wait for them to provide us what they have, and then we market it.
I want to push back a little bit, and with all due respect, sir, we've been, some of these events have been around for a long time.
Yes.
So it's okay to use previous years, and just flash out pictures.
Right.
I've seen it on social media, Facebook and all that. You can actually extract that. It's ours. It's not just Tinians or Rhodas or Saipmans.
Yes, right.
It's the CNMI. So
Right.
I think we need to do a little bit of job in terms of the reasoning behind why you're not posting it. Again, you're asking us to be part of the team, and when I hear things like that, it troubles me to hear it. I'm still hearing it from our own visitors authority. So I think we need to improve in that aspect. You have offices on Tinian, you have offices on Saipan, and on Rhoda. So there's absolutely no reason that we're going to be coming out with that kind of reasoning that you're not getting that information.
Right. But
so I want to just state that for the record.
Yes, Senator. But I'm not trying to put anyone, on the spotlight or anything like that. It's
and I just wanted to bring that up because even as a local trying to get information about these kind of events, I had to go around trying to see, there's additional flights added for Star Marianas, but for the people looking in, for tourists trying to find out events, some of these information are lacking on one platform, but you may be able to find it on another. And so, being the advertising agency of the Commonwealth, it'll be, I would assume, is your responsibility to update all these stuff and push out all these informations in assistance with the mayor's office, like the chairman had mentioned. A lot of these events are happening annually, and so there should be already a date set or what usual time of the month these events happen, and then try to iron that out with the mayors to get those dates finalized so that we can also assist in the advertising of these events.
Yes.
Thank you, Flor. Senator. Okay. Yeah.
No.
One last question is that Senator Cruz has the floor.
Oh,
next.
sorry. Yes. So just to enlighten the team, we were just mentioning selling that experience. So just cumulative, events to have it marketing while we're strategically looking at the air industry and stuff. But what we control is selling that experience, because I'm very, from Rhoda, what we try to do on a small scale, is just enlighten the people outside. What uniqueness does Saipan have to offer? And we're doing it, is just putting it on that platform and selling it to the world. So that's why, that's one of the key factors as we're negotiating, try to come up with these challenges. That was one I wanted to share, and I thank you guys so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Calvo.
Can I
Go
make a
ahead. Go
comment
ahead.
for just in line with what Senator Calvo mentioned? One thing I did not share, but I'm very happy to share, that the MVA is currently developing a global brand, a global branding, and that is something that we need so that we can have a unique identity on how we promote the Marianas to the world. So that's coming soon. I believe the contractor will be done with the identity, the slogan, by October. They'll be coming in next month to collect some assets to produce our promotional materials. They'll be visiting all islands, Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. They were here a couple months ago for exploratory. They call it a recce. But that's something that we are in the process, and stay tuned for more.
Thank you, Ms. Judy. This time I recognize Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Chairman, for coordinating this platform. And I believe throughout my experience, 16 in the Senate, this is the first time that we brought everyone together. And as what MBA mentioned, that this is not just MVA, it's about everyone. So collaboration is very important, and I say it's like this is all-in, right, MBA? All-in kind of approach, right? Everybody should be collaborating in regards to making a better economy. And in regards to promotion, I think I should say that no one should be left behind, no? Departments and agencies and even private sectors. And if we were to promote the cinema, I think, again, no island should be left behind. And every agency should be participating in this in regards to promotion. Because I remember back then, there's a lot of money. I don't want to say this back then, but I have to, to bring it so that it can be a reality moving forward. I know there's a lot of money for beautification, and I've been saying this all the time, that even though how much we try to bring tourists, and we're not promoting the island, beautifying the islands, so that they will bring back to their place, right? And even share with your friends that it's a beautiful place to visit. They will come back, right? So again, let's collaborate with the mayor's office, even with historical. I think we should start beautifying historical sites so that our tourists will be, it will be very attractive. But I think some of the tourist sites, like with artifacts, are not being taken care of. So I know that from the hot fund, you're providing Tinian and Rota for that matter, right? But absent that fund, that's why good thing that finance is here, and to continue that, that funding to the island of Tinian and Rota for that matter, to continue, beautifying those tourist sites. And I think we should collaborating also with historical preservation for the matter, and see what they can, what everyone can do to pitch in with ideas and how we can, truly promote the cinema. And even with what Senator Manning mentioned about our Chamorro Caribbean food, I remember back then, tourists come here, they take them to either Japanese or Chinese restaurant. I think they're tired of those guys. They want to try our delicacy here. So that's how we should promoting our cinema in that regards. I've mentioned this so many times, and it was mentioned with very respected business people that we're lacking beautification. We need to start beautifying all those tourist sites, not just I know funding is an issue, but we have to spend money to make money, right? So back with the hotel, the association, I know that, ma'am, you mentioned that it's not as critical as right now with CW, but 29 is around the corner. I think the collaboration with the government agencies and OTM, we should have a plan. Here comes 2029. I know that it's not going to be an easy task, but there's also, I know that we're going to be lack of workers, skilled workers that servicing your company. Even though we bring a lot of tourists and we're losing a lot of employees, I don't know how can that work. So I think we should have an advanced plan to be able to be ready when that time comes. So again, I like this kind of a platform because it's a collaboration. No? You know, we're part of solving critical issues, and I'm not against anyone, but I've been saying this: it's a collaboration effort that everybody should be working together to find, you know, a better solution to make a better cinema and a better economy. So again, I thank you for coming over here and sharing your presentation and sharing with us how can we move forward. I know that MBA wants $10 million. I know that, like what the chairman mentioned, that we were gonna, I don't know which agency or which department is going to be cut, but with, like I said, with a collaboration effort, we'll see what we can do to, you know, to at least accommodate what is needed to bring back, more revenue. And I know we can recover, right? Like I said, we have to spend money to make money. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Jesus Masi, Senator Cruz. Before I recognize Senator Castro, I saw Secretary of Finance was trying to say something earlier, and I apologize that we were kind of mixed up a little bit here with cross questions. But would you like to say something?
There's been a lot of discussion so far, and so I just wanted to share some thoughts on the data that was shared yesterday, the presentation to USDOT, and then hearing HANMI and NVA again on their 3 scenarios. And the input that I wanted to share was, first of all, we're hearing about subsidies and additional funding outside the general fund or possibly with the general fund, but where would we cut is the question if it is coming from the general fund. And so in yesterday's presentation, we did share that the structural deficit that we have right now projected for FY24 of over 400 million makes it very difficult for the government to offer subsidies. And that's why we are seeking federal support in other ways that they can alleviate that financial burden on us or provide more opportunity to the airline. And so I hope that gives HANMI some hope that we are improving our alignment with all other agencies, including our delegates office, to align the message to our federal partners on the specific target areas that we need help on. And so I'm sure that the governor supports that initiative as well. And so just know that it is a challenge. However, we're finding other ways that we can alleviate that burden. Specifically for this budget before us, the options that we can explore for MVA scenario 1, which is the most ideal situation for both our revenue projection and for MVA's initiatives, is exploring other budget provisions that we can consider, such as exempting MVA from the 1% OPA fee. That's something that has been brought up in previous discussions. Another is also suspending earmarks from the hotel occupancy or the MVA trust fund. That's something that has also been discussed because every dollar matters now for MVA and where MVA decides that dollar should go. And I know that is a difficult consideration. I say that because it affects DOF as well. We are part of the earmarks out of the MVA trust fund for enforcement purposes, and we know that the enforcement expectation from DOF has increased. However, I see the importance of what MVA is trying to do overall, and like Senator Cruz said, we have to spend more to make more, and in this case, we have to be very mindful and intentional about every dollar that MVA is asking for. And thank you again to Judy for the presentation and the 3 scenarios. And at this point, we know that time is of the essence. October 1st is around the corner. And based on our preliminary calculations of the scenarios, we know that with scenario 1, MVA is expecting at least for the gross, what we're calculating as the gross collection of the hotel occupancy is around 7.9 million, which right now is below the current proposal. That's about 183,000 impact to our current budget. That's even with scenario 1. So right there, off the bat, we're expecting a dip. With scenario 2, where we maintain status quo, we're looking at the gross hotel occupancy tax at 6.1. And the impact to the current budget proposal would be 533,000. And that is the same for scenario 2 and scenario 3. However, so we're looking at it from a different angle because we're looking at the general fund budget. And the impact to MVA, of course, you have different packages, right, with your 10.9 million ask and then your 6.4 million ask. And I'm saying that these other budget provisions that we can consider will help us close that gap to get MVA at least closer to the 6.4, and we can start from there. So
can you please reference to the concurrent resolution, the one before us? You mentioned 2 consideration. One is the 1%, and the other one you say MVA trust fund. Are you referring to which item?
So the hotel occupancy earmarked to MVA out of the MVA trust fund is the 80% earmark out of the hotel occupancy tax
Correct.
gross collection. And then in MVA's presentation, they showed also further the earmarks out of that 80%, which brings down their budget even more because they have the 2% earmarked to the municipalities and the 2.5 to Department of Finance. And so we're looking at every
So you're willing
way.
to, sorry, I didn't mean to interject, but so the 2.5%, we want to suspend it and have it.
I'm saying that's an option we
Okay.
can explore.
No, I mean that's good because it's coming.
Yeah, I'm saying
I would like to
everybody has
think that
take
you're
the, you know,
representing the administration.
some kind
So
of sacrifice
Correct.
so that we can give MVA the resources they need. Like I said, every dollar counts and where it's invested matters. And I know that enforcement is a priority, but I'm also seeing the need right now for MVA to reach the target scenario that they've provided us so that we could reach our projection as
Sure.
well. So that's just some options for this body to consider in terms of helping MVA reach the
Okay.
goal. Yeah.
So question. Earlier, Senator Castro had mentioned that whether that being board approval or board sanction, but we know when we get guidance from the subject matter experts, especially in this case MBA, of potentially changing the dynamics or the configuration or the enabling statute of HOT, is that something that the administration can support? So we can actually get the true figures of actual the transient population to which you can do incentivize when they exit, because that's just it. It's transient population fee. Is that something that you want to explore?
We could definitely explore any proposals from the Senate. And we also supported the transient accommodation tax, which would update the hotel occupancy tax.
Yeah.
And that's something I believe that's still in the House. That was supported by Department of Finance for stronger enforcement on the hotel occupancy tax, stronger, clearer definitions. But I think you're talking about a separate kind of fee,
Yeah.
exit fee.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the example that I'm hearing, which is actually kind of probably would even address the legislation that you're referring to that was being supported by DOF of the transient. Maybe that would be almost the fix-all because it involves HOT. So anybody that comes in and registered as a tourist would definitely be marked and flagged as that. So, we can revisit that discussion again, and I want to wait for the managing director to be back to have this conversation again, And even if it's budget season, and if this is something that we really want to really prioritize, even during the course of the next fiscal year, we can continue that discussion as well. I think that's important because we're trying to kind of really try and narrow the gap of reportings. Because everything here is projection, correct? And we always want to say that we base ourselves on historical figures to drive our projection. But if we can, continue discussion on the matter. Okay, so Sec, I'm going to recognize Senator Castro because he just raised his hand again. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Chairman. And I just want to thank everyone in this room. I know this kind of seems like a what kind of hearing do we call that again?
Budget?
No, it's like it's already looking like an oversight hearing, but it's really not. And I wanted to thank you guys because those numbers there, I mean, if you look at 2018, they mean something. It means that we did something right. And if you go even further back to the earlier times of tourism, when the 747s were coming and all the Tosi Tours buses were full, and we were doing something right. So the data is really important, and I just wanted to ask if MVA has that data, that qualitative data that every tourist fills out, or any kind of data, if some way you can share it with the committee or my office so that we can start drafting legislation to really look at the customer experience and how we can tailor our laws to align with that and support that. So we have a more long-term approach, because like what happened in 2018, there's a lot of things that MVA did that promoted, like BTS was on Saipan doing videos. That is a big thing, right? So whatever target market that we're trying to attract, we have to look at the data behind that target market. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, causation does not equal correlation. We need to focus on the correlation, like the data, what is linking to which. And really, you guys know this information. You have this information, but the key is to really use it. And like what was said earlier with the other municipalities, if you really want authentic food, authentic language, sometimes even our other senatorial districts maybe can provide that better. To be honest, just because of our population here, we're lacking some of those indigenous course of menus. But yes, I just want to commend you guys for the work you're doing. I know it's really challenging right now, but help us help you. Provide the data, the deep data, not just the surface level, like this is how many aircrafts and seats we have. We need like what the tourists are saying, because I've sat with tourists like right now, like if you ask Japanese or Korean tourists, like going out, Godfathers will probably be up there. For some reason, there's some kind of blog. There's even a blog about our homeless issue. So there's even legislation right now. Senator Karina introduced legislation not too long ago about the drunken disorderly. So that correlates to the tourist situation, because the tourists are complaining about the situation with drunken disorderly people or drugged and disorderly people in Garapan, and a law was or a bill was introduced in the Senate to take care of that issue. So we need more of that data, so that our laws can really take care of our economic situation in the short term, but more importantly, long term. Thank you.
Senator Castro. Go ahead. For lunch.
Oh, no. The person that invites usually pays for the lunch. So, but I just wanted to say, like, related diversification, and for the hotels that are kind of like suffering right now. There's a lot of out of the box kind of ways we can do this. For example, PIC has a great kids club. You can look into DCCA and having an after school program, and at the same time maybe training the young local population to be in that kind of hospitality and tourism industry. There's a lot of golfers that have been coming in, famous ones, especially from South Korea, like really, really famous golfers. From Japan, I know Anyan was here not too long ago. So, you know, the marketing is really important. And sometimes we also have to, there's different approaches. Like, we cannot just say, let's look at what Guam is doing, because tourists come to Saipan for a different reason. Like Senator Cruz mentioned earlier about the historical sites. For the Japanese market and even the Chinese market, there's a lot of historical significance of Saipan. For those that don't know, like, I mean, most know about the Japan history, but even during the Chinese Revolution, there, you know, there's history there. But there's a lot of sites that have been abandoned that even historical preservation or office hasn't reached out. There's underground tunnels. There's a B-29 in Papago, like a full-on B-29 in the jungle. I mean, let's fix these sites, but ultimately we need to look at the data. What's really important to the consumers? If 7,593 tourists came in at that time, if we can correlate all the reasons why they came to Saipan, then we can put the money in that investment, like, you know, that specific segment, or create legislation to earmark funds to MVA or whichever agency to support that that challenge or that opportunity. Thank you.
Good points, Senator Castro. Thank you. So just a quick question to MBA with your offshore market and your consultants. Do they have any like sites that the target market is hitting or access? A link to say, press this, and then you flash the CNMI, Saipan, visit the CNMI, visit Marianas. Is there anything of that nature that we can explore, so we can probably share on our platform as well?
They do handle our website, our destination website in Japan and Korea. They also have social media platform on Instagram, Facebook, Naver for Korea and Japan, as well as YouTube.
Let me ask, is this, I'm sorry, you know, if I forgive my ignorance, but do we have that right off the cuff? I mean, what is that? Visit the Marianas, or?
We can provide you the links.
Yeah, I think this is. I'm just trying to stress a point that this is something that we need to be blowing up here in the CNMI, because you know it's important. I mean, marketing, as we previously say, and we're investing offshore offices to do the talking for us. And I'm just trying to stress the point that we're all in this together. We're in support, but I think more, you know, expansive in terms of, do we have a TikTok account for MVA? We do? Awesome. That's good. And who's the actor? There's a lot of talents here in the CNMI. You know, there's a lot of talents, local talents that we can explore, and even if it's just what they call jingles or blurps that represent Saipan, that represents Rhoda, and represent Tinian. Yes. Coconut Festival is coming up.
Yes, sir.
I think.
Yes.
And I think this is the uniqueness of the Marianas and the CNMI.
Yes.
It stands out, but we need to be able to flash it to those millions of viewers, no, in Korea and Japan, and hopefully, you know, with Hong Kong and Macau and wherever else from China. So did you want to say something, sir? Or did you want?
No, you pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. So I think if there's no other questions from the, one more question, Senator Donald.
Thank you, Chairman. Not so much a question, but you brought up some of the things that I wanted to kind of briefly address. I think this is where MVA, you know, has to play a bigger role when it comes to meeting with the cabinet members, with the administration in kind of laying out its plans and sharing with the different agencies what we can expect, or what what areas we can address in terms of what we're lacking. I know also, speaking of TikTok, I'm surprised to find out that maybe MVA has reached out, but there was a recent TikToker who was here who had a following of 50 million, but there's nothing on the CNMI that came out of that. So I don't know what came about that. There was also a YouTuber that visited the islands, Vagabond or something like that. And so I don't know if agencies were fully aware that we have these people on island, that we can be more accommodating, or do some collaboration, but that might be free advertisement. So I don't know where. Maybe this is where, like what I mentioned earlier, MVA can play a bigger role with the administration and the cabinet members in trying to disseminate some of these information, but also work well with them. I mean, we've heard that we're lacking recreational activities, but has MVA reached out to the Indigenous Affairs and talk about some of the cultural experience that tourists can get? Where are we with Thursday night markets? We don't see that anymore, but when we go to visit these foreign countries, that's some of the stuff we see often, is these street markets that people walk through and get to immerse themselves in the culture. So and that's one of the challenges that I'm having in speaking with the members, is as much as we want to give MVA more money, is MVA doing enough locally to help support its mission in advertising the CNMI globally? And if not, then we need to kind of address some of the issues now, to be able to get a lot of the support that you're asking for. Data is very important. Up until now, I'm surprised why MVA or the CNMI can't get data as to how much foreign travelers are going to Rutinian or to Rota. If a legislation is needed, then let us know so that we can force the airlines to provide that information to you. But we don't have that information. We don't know how many tourists are visiting Rota and Tinian, right? Rota has fought hard to bring in an additional airline. We have that. Is that being advertised? Now there's more seats going in and out of Rota, but we're not seeing the traffic there. And so those are some of the supports that we would like to hear, so that we can help support your request for 6 million or even 10 million. But we're not really hearing that, or we're not really seeing that right now. But I hope that in the upcoming year, we can see more of that information come out from MVA. And so, just as a closing remark, Mr. Chairman, I apologize, but I have a marketing background, and so some of these stuff are very I'm passionate about, and so I hope that those can be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Donald Magnolia. I think we've got enough information as far as how we're going to approach this. And, and earlier it was the concurrent resolution, really, and the HOT, and I appreciate the conversations, the presentation, and of course, Secretary of Finance guidance as well. And I lost my train of thought because I think Senator Donald Magnolia kind of got some of it, but that's okay. That's why we're here. But I do want to continue asking collectively that we need to speak in one voice about Annex 6, about cabotage, and about the CW preliminary outreach by Congresswoman Kimberly King Hines recently did. I think they all, in one form or another, have an they linked in our survivability here. The conversation of a foreign carrier connecting Saipan and Guam and not carrying our citizens, it's, to me, I think that's what I'm hearing yesterday, what I've heard yesterday in the presentation by DOT, was that it needs a legislative, legislation from the U.S. Congress, from which I think it's been flagged and it's tracking, and I hope that we can also explore that idea, because in as much as we want to make sure that we invite our tourists here, we also want to make it affordable for our residents to travel between the two islands, because that seems to be a hot topic as well in the midst. So I know the Chamber of Commerce is meeting. They've been meeting hard at HANMI, MBA, the administration, CPA for that matter. We all have to come together somehow and have a game plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan, and 10-year plan, and moving forward. Because that's the only way. And as what Senator Donald was saying, if legislation is needed, we're here to help. So sticking with the subject today, I wanted to go ahead and call this meeting to recess until 1:30 this afternoon, which I am going to go ahead and dismiss the HANMI, MBA, and CPA. And please, I ask the Secretary of Finance to come back at 1:30 to kind of flush out some of the conversations that we have over the last a couple hours earlier. During this meeting. So 1:30, we're gonna resume at 1:30 in the same chamber, to which we're gonna finalize the discussion of concurrent resolution. So with that, and thank you again, everyone, for being here. And with that, this meeting is on recess until 1:30 today. Thank you.